Oh, that is disgusting. Coke, vanilla, coffee. Somebody recommended it to me, and me being, the person that I am, I picked up a 4 pack rather than just pick up one individually and see if I like it. So I don't know if anybody's ever done that. You go to the store, you buy things in bulk when you've never tried it before, and then you end up not liking it, so you got a bunch of it left over. That's kind of what's happening with me with this coffee vanilla Coke. I don't even know the order of the words. Coca Cola with coffee, vanilla. Poor labeling on these. But I've been saying for a while, by the way, Benny Legg hosts the podcast you're listening to, 2Gs. You can follow on Instagram at Benny Legg, 2Gs, because that's how you spell my last name. My real last name, Legiri. I'm an Italian guy, but nobody could say the name. I remember my first open mic, I went with Legiri, and it took the guy, by the time the guy finished figuring out how to say my name, I didn't even get to perform. So I was like, I got to shorten this. I changed it to Leg. And I haven't been able to get followers ever since because they keep following the guy with 1G. I don't know. But this is a gambling podcast. I quit gambling. I am a gambling addict. And I've been teasing, if you go back and listen, you can listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor. If you go back and listen, I've been saying I'm going to do an episode about Michael Jordan's gambling disease, because Michael Jordan's a gambling addict. He won't admit it, but he's a gambling addict. And with it being National Gambling Addict Awareness Month is March. They do it in March because of March Madness, all the degenerate gamblers. March Madness, the people like me. What an event. And we didn't have it last year. Oh, man, people are going to be just jumping at the bit to bet on this thing. And I'm excited because I sign people up for sports betting apps, and that's my job. That's my living. That's what I get paid for. So just all the people flooded into Vegas for March Madness with things opening up a little bit more because, the virus is cured, I guess. It's all very confusing. But I'm excited for March, because people love to gamble and people love to tell stories about their gambling. No matter what, everybody wants to tell a gambling story. The thing with me is I'm so good at telling stories that mine are better than everybody else's. So I don't really want to brag, but my gambling stories are insane. And I'm going to tell the real relapse story. You just got to give me to 100 listeners. Michael Jordan is a gambling addict. Let's raise awareness of the fact that that is a thing in Gambling Awareness Month. And I figured the simplest way to do it was to just read a little bit. So I found this article on CBSSports.com via Google. I just typed in Michael Jordan gambling addict. A billion things came up. If you're hearing this for the first time and you're like, he gambles? Just Google Michael Jordan gambling addict. We have this article, CBSSports.com, written by Sam Quinn, May 17th, 2020, titled Michael Jordan and Gambling, A Brief History of Basketball's Most Famous Bettor. And by the way, you spell better with an O. It's not like an official thing, but in the gambling world, you spell better with an O. It's completely different if you spell it with an E. Because if you're betting, like in my case, I was never better when I was betting, so you have to spell it with an O. Once you read it, you'll understand it more. But this piece by Sam Quinn, which is a 7-minute read that I'll probably turn into a 35-minute read, because, that's what I do. It takes me a while to get there. 2 times speed. I recommend it. Michael Jordan insisted that he didn't have a gambling problem in 1993. I have a competition problem, Jordan claimed in an interview with Ahmad Rashad. I played that clip on a previous podcast. in 93, I was 9 years old. And I remember watching Michael Jordan in the interview. And he would say things like he had a competition problem. And there was a story that he went to Atlantic City the night before a playoff game. And I was 9 years old, and I was hearing this. And it was just like so relatable to me because I had a Little League game that day. And the night before, my dad brought me up to track, the racetrack, to bet on horses. So I was like, yeah. And this was a big Little League game. This was for like the championship. This was for a trophy. Like, it wasn't like nowadays where everybody got a trophy. In 1993, only one team got a trophy. So I was playing for a trophy. But that didn't stop me from the night before to go and bet the ponies with my dad. As long as he has been in the public eye, he has been known to bet on everything from golf and cards to minor competitions with teammates, and even security guards. Now, the thing, like, I hear that, and the funny thing is, in high school, I was on the high school basketball team, and I didn't play, but I was not a good basketball player. I would sit on the bench next to the assistant coaches. And there was a kid on the team who would always go on the floor. Like, he wasn't really like a starter, but he would get time. And the time he spent on the floor, he would just continuously flop and fall down. So I knew I wasn't getting in the game. I needed to make it entertaining. I ended up making some side bets with my assistant coach on how many times that guy was going to fall down in the 4 minutes that he played. Like, I would set an over-under. I'd like, he's gonna pretend to get fouled 8.5 times in 4 minutes, and the assistant coach would take the bets. I don't want, I'm not gonna get into names, but yeah, I loved gambling. I could totally relate to Michael. Like, Michael Jordan is a gambling addict. He is me. Great with a gambling disease. Early life. I am skipping a little bit in the article. The exact origins of Jordan's gambling habits are unknown, but they date back at least to his high school days, period. In a letter written to his high school prom date, according to Roland Lazenby's book, Michael Jordan, The Life, he said that he was happy that she'd paid off a bet that he'd won against her. Reading. Similar evidence exists that substantiates his gambling in college. In 2019, a $5 check written in 1982 by Jordan to a fellow North Carolina student went up for auction. 1982, I wasn't even born yet. Yet Michael Jordan was already a gambling addict. That money was won at the pool table, and the student, sensing Jordan's future fame, asked for a check rather than cash. People never ask me for a check rather than cash. They know that if I gave them a check when I was paying them money, there's a good chance the money wouldn't be there when they cashed that check. People always wanted cash from me. That is one difference between me and Michael Jordan. He gambled with teammates and even college coaches during drills. There's the college coach. See, I gambled with my coaches in high school. Michael gambled in college. No word in here that he did it in high school. So if we're doing like an age comparison thing, my gambling is ahead of Michael Jordan's.